how does a nation, especially one so deeply committed to a unique philosophy like gross national happiness, actually pull off something huge, like transforming its entire infrastructure? I mean, not just building new stuff, but fundamentally redesigning its whole approach to development, aiming to become a high-income economy. It really gets you thinking about what holistic national development can truly look like. Today, we're diving deep into exactly that. Bhutan's strategic framework for modernizing its infrastructure and its construction sector. It's this fascinating mix of like really bold economic ambition and just incredibly careful, meticulous planning. And it's all geared towards achieving those big gross national happiness or G&H goals. Our source for this deep dive isn't just some article. It's the real deal. A comprehensive framework document straight from Bhutan's Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport. Basically the blueprint they're using to build their future. Okay, let's unpack this. We're looking at how an entire nation is essentially reorganizing its core operations, building a stronger, more sustainable future, literally from the ground up, with, happiness as a core principle.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how this document lays out not just this grand vision, but a really granular step-by-step path to get there. This is so much more than just, a plan for building roads or bridges. It's about deep systemic change. It's about a radical professionalization of an entire sector and genuinely integrated national development. The document tackles systemic challenges head on. It's trying to create, well, a future-ready infrastructure for the country. If you connect this to the bigger picture, it's a really compelling case study in how a nation can strategically reorient itself towards long-term prosperity and, crucially, well-being.
Right. And our mission for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to understand the strategic pillars holding this whole thing up, the new organizational structures they're putting in place, the clear roles and responsibilities for everyone involved from national down to local levels, all the engineering specialties, and that meticulous project implementation cycle they've designed. It's all meant to usher Bhutan into a new era of infrastructure excellence and national prosperity. So ultimately, we want to explore what can you learn from such a holistic, such a detailed approach to large-scale national development? What principles could you maybe apply in your own complex projects? Or even organizational changes? Okay, let's kick things off with the grand vision, because it really sets the stage for everything else. Bhutan's national aspirations, laid out right here in this ministry document, are incredibly ambitious, especially when you see them through that G&H lens. Their vision statement. It's concise, but wow, it's powerful. A dynamic, globally competitive, resilient, and sustainable construction industry. When you hear globally competitive, that tells you something, right? They're not just thinking about local needs. They're aiming for international standards, maybe even competing on the world stage with their construction skills down the line. And resilient. That speaks to being ready for, natural disasters, future shocks. Super important for a mountainous country like Bhutan.
Absolutely. And that vision, it's directly supported by their mission statement, which is just as clear. Their mission: to create an enabling environment for a vibrant and an efficient construction industry through professionalization, innovation, technology, standardization, and regulation. Now, each of those words is crucial, really, to understanding their whole approach. Professionalization. That suggests a fundamental shift, maybe from a more informal or less structured way of doing things, to one driven by specialized expertise, certified practices, ethics. It's about elevating the whole construction field to a true profession. Innovation and technology, well, that's about embracing modern solutions, right? Moving beyond just traditional methods to boost efficiency and quality. Standardization is so important for consistency across all projects, making sure there's a uniform baseline of excellence no matter where or who is building it. And regulation kind of underpins it all. It provides the governance, the accountability, the legal framework needed to ensure compliance, prevent malpractice. You put all that together, and it creates this virtuous cycle supporting continuous improvement.
Right? It's like building a really robust, self-sustaining framework for quality and growth, not just fixing problems as they pop up. Now let's get into their specific objectives, because this is where, the rubber meets the road with actual targets. First up, transform into a high-income G&H economy by 2034. Okay, a G&H economy. That's fascinating because it implies so much more than just standard GDP growth, which is often just about, money. For Bhutan, it's about development that prioritizes citizen well-being, actively preserves their incredible culture, rigorously conserves their environment, ensures good governance, all alongside economic prosperity. It's genuinely a holistic measure of success. How do you even start infusing happiness into infrastructure planning? Seems complex.
It's definitely their unique differentiator, and you see it woven through everything. And complementing that G&H goal, they have a very concrete economic target, achieving a GDP of new 43 billion by 2029. New 43 billion, that's Ngultram, Bhutan's currency. It's not some vague wish, it's a measurable financial goal tied directly to their broader strategy. Then they focus on creating sustainable employment opportunities across key sectors. This really highlights the socioeconomic angle, ensuring infrastructure development translates into real, tangible, long-lasting benefits for the people, providing livelihoods that are stable, enduring. It's not just about building things, it's about building up people and their futures.
And this next objective connects directly to that idea of right investments, doesn't it? Ensuring strategic development aligned with the Comprehensive National Development Plan, CNDP, emphasizing right investments and growth at the right place. So they're not just building for the sake of it. Every project, every Ngultram spent has to fit into this bigger, carefully thought out national spatial and economic plan. It's about precision, not just scattered development.
Exactly. It's a very deliberate approach to allocating resources, aiming to maximize impact, minimize waste. They also aim to enhance quality, optimize costs, and project time through measures such as mechanization, engagement of specialized firms, and promotion of certified builders. This one targets efficiency and excellence directly, recognizing that, mechanization speeds things up, improves consistency, and engaging specialized firms, promoting certified builders that brings higher levels of expertise, accountability, better quality assurance, moving beyond maybe older, less efficient ways. And finally, optimize and develop human resources through targeted capacity building initiatives. This directly tackles the need for a skilled workforce, people capable of actually executing these ambitious plans. It's about investing in their own people, making sure they have the technical skills, the specialized knowledge, the ethical grounding needed to deliver. It acknowledges that, infrastructure is built by people and their skills are paramount.
And the last objective really seems to tie it all together. Build critical mass and foster specialization by establishing an engineering council and an engineering agency to promote professional growth and standardization within the sector. So this isn't just about training individuals. It's about creating this central, expert-driven body that can elevate the entire industry, setting benchmarks, fostering continuous improvement, making sure knowledge is shared and built upon across the whole country. It sounds like they're creating a kind of national brain trust for infrastructure.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, Bhutan, like many developing nations, has faced common hurdles. But they're tackling them with a really distinct integrated approach, one that's deeply rooted in their G&H philosophy. The document's background section is quite frank about the critical challenges that demanded this big structural change. They point to things like low return on investment, suggesting past projects maybe didn't yield the expected benefits. That signals a clear need for more strategic planning, more efficient execution. That's a common pain point for many countries, isn't it? Money gets spent, but the long-term value isn't always fully realized.
So it's not just about spending, but spending smart, getting the most bang for their buck for the nation and its people.
Exactly. Then they mention issues in implementation. That could be anything from coordination gaps between agencies, lack of consistently skilled labor, maybe not enough oversight during construction. The document also highlights gaps in technical expertise, acknowledging that while they have dedicated professionals, there might be areas where specialized knowledge is lacking, or maybe existing expertise isn't being used effectively across the whole system. And finally, inefficiencies in resource allocation, situations where human, financial, or material resources maybe weren't deployed optimally, leading to waste or delays. These issues, if they weren't addressed, could seriously constrain their progress towards those national goals and really undermine the G&H philosophy.
Yeah, those sound like fundamental problems that could genuinely derail the whole vision. How does a nation, especially one with potentially limited resources, even start tackling systemic challenges like that without just getting bogged down?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's what they seem to have asked themselves. To counteract these problems, the ministry plans this comprehensive strategy. Consolidate expertise, enforce rigorous standards, drive innovation across all infrastructure projects. This consolidation is key to building that critical mass we talked about, bringing diverse skills under one roof, essentially, to maximize their collective impact. They also explicitly push for aligning all infrastructure development with the Comprehensive National Development Plan 2030 framework. This isn't just a suggestion, it's an imperative. It ensures every single project is impactful and sustainable. directing the right investments to the right places at the right time. The focus is clearly on optimizing their existing human capital to build this critical mass, fostering an ecosystem for specialization, innovation, efficiency, sustained growth within engineering and construction. This is how they plan to truly professionalize the whole field, not just, put band-aids on existing problems.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like they're saying, okay, let's get everyone on the same page, really elevate our game, and make sure every single investment fits perfectly into our national puzzle, benefiting G&H directly. It's a total strategic reboot.
And of course, to effectively manage all these new initiatives, all these transformations, you absolutely need a robust governance framework. This framework is designed to boost coordination and collaboration across all the agencies involved in infrastructure. It acts as a kind of guiding mechanism, fostering shared understanding, common objectives among everyone involved, which is just critical for implementing such complex, multifaceted national plans. Plus, this governance structure provides strong oversight over infrastructure planning, over expenditure across all agencies, ensuring transparency, accountability. It also helps bring ideas together for better monitoring, control, and overall quality of infrastructure, fostering a culture of continuous improvement, shared responsibility. It's really about building a system that can effectively manage and account for every single aspect of development, from the initial idea right through to completion.
Okay, so we've touched on fixing immediate problems and building strong governance. But what really strikes me here, they're not just fixing problems, they're envisioning an entire ecosystem for growth. It feels like they're fundamentally redesigning their national future, almost literally from the ground up. And speaking of designing a nation, that takes us straight into their master blueprint, the Comprehensive National Development Plan, CNDP 2030. This isn't just some document collecting dust on a shelf. It really is the guiding star for Bhutan's entire development path. Apparently, it was developed in close consultation with all the relevant stakeholders, aiming to foster balanced development, tackle regional disparities, and ultimately guide the nation towards that high-income gross national happiness economy by 2034. It really speaks to long-term integrated thinking.
Absolutely. And to make it happen, the 13th five-year plan, which runs from 2024 to 2029, is specifically targeting this transformation. It really emphasizes distributing resources equitably and using sustainable development practices. The ultimate goal, naturally, is to maximize the well-being of all citizens, truly embodying that G&H philosophy in tangible results. The CNDP has several key objectives: promoting equitable development, urban and rural, to avoid overconcentration, tackling that persistent issue of rural-urban migration by creating opportunities everywhere, driving economic growth through tech advancements, building a modern economy, and crucially, enhancing G&H through sustainable social and economic initiatives, always bringing it back to that core philosophy.
So it's about growth that benefits everyone, everywhere, and does it responsibly, guided by that unique G&H principle. How do they actually map this out on the ground, though, practically?
Right. To achieve this, the document details a pretty sophisticated structure for National Spatial Plan. This isn't just abstract planning, it's a very tangible way of thinking geographically and economically. To address that rural-urban migration issue and promote balanced development, they've identified specific sectorial interventions. Things like strategically developing special economic zones, SEZs, industrial estates for manufacturing, hydropower projects for energy, and boosting sectors like tourism, farming, and various agro-based industries. The idea is to create diverse opportunities in different regions, preventing everything from piling up in one area, making growth fair.
That sounds like a very intentional strategy of decentralization, creating multiple poles of growth across the country. It really is. And a key part of this spatial plan is designating the National Capital Region, or NCR. This covers Paro, Thimphu, and Punakha. It's envisioned as Bhutan's main urban hub, designed to kind of spread the growth pressure away from just Thimphu, while ensuring integrated development across these key areas. Thimphu stays the administrative and political capital, but with controlled expansion, preventing it from becoming overwhelmingly large. Paro gets strengthened as the international gateway, mainly through the airport focusing on tourism, hospitality, trade, and Punakha are earmarked as agro-tourism and cultural centers, leveraging their history and fertile valleys. The plan emphasizes better transport links, think expressways, regional airports, plus shared infrastructure to create real economic synergy across these three connected areas. It's like creating a well-oiled machine where each part helps the others. So what does this all mean for daily life for the average person? It's really about designing a nation, not just building in it. It's about how people move, where they work, how different regions interact, all sort of pre-planned for better living.
It absolutely is. And beyond the NCR, they've also identified linked urban centers, or LUCs. These are basically paired urban centers designed to boost economic collaboration, improve market access, and further promote that regional balance. For instance, you've got Phuentsholing and Samsa, designated as the Southern Economic Gateway. Phuentsholing is Bhutan's main trade hub with India, right? So it focuses on logistics, manufacturing, cross-border trade, while Samsa supports it with agro-processing, light industries, strengthening the whole supply chain. It's a really clever way to create a symbiotic relationship between neighboring towns, leveraging their different strengths. Another pair, Sarpang and Jellifu, planned as a trade and special economic zone. Jellifu is specifically highlighted for the Jellifu Mindfulness City, or SAR, that new sustainable city project, while Sarpang supports agro-exports like mandarin oranges, cardamom, plus logistics.
So it's really specific about the economic drivers for each area, almost like each region gets its own economic superpower.
Right. Indeed. And this level of detail in spatial planning, it's quite impressive. There are other LUCs too, like Tromsø-Bumthang for culture and agroeconomy, Mungar-Trashigang as the Eastern Growth Corridor, and Nimglamsam-Dripjonkar focusing on the trade link to Assam. It's a comprehensive network. This raises an important question, though. How do you actually ensure strategic investment across all these diverse regions without just spreading yourself too thin, diluting the focus? Bhutan's answer seems to be this very clear specialization, detailed in their sophisticated grid classification for regional specialization. It's a dual-axis approach. They look at both longitudinal east-west and latitudinal north-south divisions. Think of it like overlaying two maps, each showing a different kind of specialization focus.
Okay, so not just one map, but layers of specialization. Tell us about the east-west classification first. How have they carved up the country that way?
Right, the longitudinal or east-west classification, it breaks the country down into distinct economic identities. The western region is designated as the business and commercial hub. Think finance, trade, services. Moving inwards, the central western region is for agro-production and R&D, specializing in high-value agriculture, housing research centers. Then the central eastern region centers on tradition and interaction, emphasizing cultural preservation, religious tourism, and finally, the eastern region is set up as the science and incubation zone, fostering innovation, tech startups, education hubs. This clearly defines the economic strengths and development priorities right across the country, making sure each region has a unique economic identity.
That's a really smart way to make sure each region contributes uniquely to the national economy, right? Preventing maybe unhelpful internal competition, encouraging synergy instead. Now, what about the north-south axis? How do those specializations play out?
The latitudinal, or north-south classification, adds another really crucial layer. The northern region is designated as a highland symbiosis zone, focusing on sustainable highland ecosystems, traditional practices like yak farming, ecotourism. Places like Laya, Lunana are prime examples. The central region is classified as the knowledge and culture hub, naturally covering education, heritage, the seat of governance. And the southern region is marked as economic advanced, being the primary area for industry, trade, agro-processing, partly because of its climate and closeness to key trade routes.
So they're really capitalizing on the natural and cultural advantages of each specific geographic area. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all plan, is it? It's more like a tailor-made approach for each slice of the nation.
Exactly. And this detailed grid classification allows for highly targeted investment, which is really a hallmark of their GNH-led planning. Accordingly, the CNDP 2030 for Bhutan meticulously lays out the scale of development and infrastructure investment based on each region's specific growth potential and inherent strength. It effectively functions as a comprehensive guide and also a crucial screening tool for all infrastructure development across Bhutan. It ensures every project aligns with that larger strategic purpose, rather than just being an isolated effort. It's about building a coherent national whole.
And this incredibly detailed blueprint, the CNDP, leads us directly into the engine of change, which is the formation and organization of this new engineering agency. This is really where the grand vision starts to become tangible reality, isn't it? Moving from maps and plans to actual, well, boots on the ground, so to speak.
Indeed. The formation of this engineering agency, it really represents a truly transformative initiative for Bhutan. Its core purpose is to professionalize the entire engineering sector, making sure every Ngultrum invested in infrastructure delivers maximum value for the nation and its people. This goes way beyond just administrative shuffling. It really embodies Bhutan's commitment to excellence in nation building. by centralizing technical oversight where it's needed, fostering highly specialized skills, and institutionalizing best practices right across the board. The agency is designed to enhance efficiency, accountability, quality, and infrastructure development, while also driving capacity development, cultivating technical expertise, enabling structured professional growth for engineers. It's all aligned with the country's evolving needs, aspirations, and that deep G&H philosophy. This strategic move will undoubtedly elevate the sector's standards, ensuring sustainable, high-impact infrastructure that actively supports Bhutan's journey towards prosperity and well-being.
Okay, let's unpack this. This isn't just, a new department being set up. It's a strategic intervention designed specifically to elevate standards and ensure sustainable, high-impact infrastructure. What was the core rationale behind forming such a powerful new agency? Why this specific structure?
The rationale is very clearly laid out, and it addresses critical operational and developmental needs. Firstly, human resource optimization is paramount, making the absolute best use of their available workforce capacity. To increase efficiency, reduce costs, maximize output without overstretching people, it's about smart, strategic deployment of their most valuable asset, their skilled people. Secondly, they aim for enhancing infrastructure quality through advanced, sustainable, and resilient infrastructure development technologies. This isn't just about building quickly or cheaply, it's about embracing modern, durable techniques that improve long-term efficiency, promote environmental sustainability, and lead to lower maintenance costs over the life of the infrastructure.
So building smarter, not just faster or cheaper, and keeping an eye on the environment too.
Precisely. Thirdly, a centrally planned approach is seen as crucial. This ensures resources, human, financial materials, are allocated efficiently to maximize productivity and prevent what they actually call resource thinning. Resource thinning implies, diluting efforts or money across too many projects without enough impact or expertise, which can lead to projects failing or getting delayed. Fourthly, they prioritize building critical mass in infrastructure planning and implementation. This creates a strong, concentrated foundation of resources, expertise, strategic investments, which is essential for self-sustainability and long-term success of complex national projects. It prevents fragmentation, fosters collective capability.
That critical mass idea,
Right.
it sounds like consolidating expertise rather than spreading it too thinly, creating a real powerhouse.
Exactly. Fifth, they want to promote specialization of the workforce. This enhances efficiency, significantly improves quality, helps reduce costs by cutting down on errors and rework, and positions Bhutan potentially as a leader in certain industry segments. It means having genuine experts for every type of infrastructure need. And finally, the adoption of uniform standards, technical specifications, and interpretation of procurement norms is vital. This ensures consistency, quality, efficiency, regulatory compliance across all infrastructure planning and development, preventing ad hoc or inconsistent approaches that can lead to costly mistakes or substandard work. It's about building a robust, predictable system.
What's fascinating here is this deliberate clustering of expertise, creating a more cohesive, more accountable system. So how is this new engineering agency actually organized to achieve all these ambitious goals?
It's structured into a central agency and then subsidiary ones, forming a kind of hierarchical yet integrated network. At the core, you have the Central Engineering Agency. That's the Department of Infrastructure Development, or DOIAD, under the Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport. This DOIAD was formed by merging engineering divisions that were previously, scattered across various ministries. The strategic goal here is a much more streamlined, efficient, coordinated approach to national infrastructure development. Imagine taking all that scattered engineering talent from different government departments and bringing them under one specialized roof.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Instead of having engineering teams kind of isolated in different ministries, maybe duplicating efforts or lacking specialized support, they're pulling them all together under one central technical body, almost like a national engineering firm for the government.
Yes. And the DOIAD, as this central agency, is then supported by regional offices for infrastructure development, Zhongkog engineering sectors, and specific engineering sections kept within other ministries for operational needs. The DOI has clear, broad mandates, primarily to develop quality, cost-effective, green, sustainable infrastructure through innovation and technology. That's the big one. They're also tasked with liaising with other central agencies like education, health, culture, agriculture, plus the Department of Human Settlement, DHS, and local governments to coordinate, plan, develop infrastructure that achieves whole-of-government priorities, ensuring deep alignment across the entire national agenda, not just within the Ministry of Infrastructure itself.
So they're the technical experts, yes, but also the central coordinators, the connective tissue for all the big projects.
Precisely. Other mandates include fostering the highest engineering code of conduct and ethics across the profession, ensuring safe, reliable drinking water, irrigation, clean sanitation for communities. Adopting appropriate disaster-resilient construction technology is crucial given Bhutan's geography, and consistently developing, reviewing, updating appropriate standards and quality assurance mechanisms. These are all about foundational quality, safety, and long-term sustainability.
Okay, and what are the DOID's core responsibilities? What do they actually do day to day to deliver on these big mandates?
Well, their responsibilities are pretty extensive. They cover the whole project lifecycle, really. They provide detailed engineering design and technical drawing support for infrastructure projects across all sector agencies, from initial planning, budgeting, preparing project proposals. They also directly oversee the implementation of those centrally planned, large-scale infrastructure projects. Significantly, they provide professional and technical support to local government-planned infrastructure projects, and broader engineering expertise and technical support to both regional offices and local governments, ensuring technical rigor even at the local level. And critically, DOID also has this unique parenting role for the engineers, technicians, operators in regional offices and local governments, which means they facilitate their transfers, support their professional development, nurture their careers, ensuring a continuous pipeline of highly skilled talent right across the system.
That parenting role is interesting. It implies a real long-term commitment to developing their people, knowledge transfer, not just getting projects built. What are the key areas of specialization within DOID? This seems like where the real depth of expertise lies.
Yeah, the engineers under DOID are highly specialized in various disciplines to ensure comprehensive planning, design, execution. These include structural engineering for safety, water wastewater engineering for critical resources, quantity engineering for cost control, resource estimation, architecture for design, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, MEP engineering for all the building systems, project management for efficient delivery, and quality engineering for making sure standards are met. So, like you said, if you're building a big new national hospital, DOIT brings in specialists from MEP to structural, ensuring a comprehensive approach covering every technical detail, optimizing every system.
That's incredibly thorough. Now, beyond the central DOID, you mentioned subsidiary engineering agencies that extend this expertise nationwide. Let's break those down. First, the Regional Office for Infrastructure Development, OROID. How do they fit into this picture?
Okay, the OROID. It's formed by strategically redeploying engineering professionals, engineers, architects, surveyors from the Dzongkhags, which are Bhutan's districts. This move is crucial for enhancing the quality of technical and professional services at a regional level, and also for supporting professional development closer to the ground, rather than having all the expertise concentrated in the capital. The rationale for OROID is very similar to DOID, but with a distinct regional focus. It's about optimizing human resources for better regional coverage, enhancing infrastructure quality in specific areas, applying that centrally planned approach to avoid resource thinning locally, providing more focused expertise on infrastructure design for localized quality control, building critical mass regionally, promoting specialization across a cluster of districts, and adopting uniform standards regionally.
So it's like a decentralized hub of expertise for a group of districts, bringing the technical support closer to the communities that need it. What are their mandates and responsibilities?
The ROIDs act as this crucial bridge between local governments and the central DOID. Their mandates include developing quality, cost-effective, sustainable infrastructure within their regions, liaising with local governments to coordinate and plan projects effectively, representing DOID locally for consistent national policy application, and providing technical sanction for public projects within their delegated authority. They also focus on ensuring safe water, irrigation, sanitation, adopting disaster-resilient tech suitable for regional conditions, fostering engineering ethics, and promoting safe, quality construction through consistent monitoring.
And what about their practical responsibilities? What are they doing on the ground?
They provide architectural, structural, engineering design support for complex infrastructure projects that local governments refer to them, particularly those beyond the typical capacity of a single dzongkhag. They prepare local area plans, which are vital for organized local development. They provide technical clearance for building approvals, compile comprehensive infrastructure inventories for their regions. They also support DOID in tendering and implementing centrally planned large-scale projects that fall within their regional area. and provide professional and technical support to local government projects. This means whether it's a major national highway segment passing through their region or a complex local community water project, there's a specific regional body ensuring technical rigor and quality. They are truly the frontline technical arm right there in the regions. For instance, the document details the 7 roids and which dzonghags they cover. Like the Punakha roid covers Gasa, Punakha, and Wangdu Phodron. Para roid serves Thimphu, Paro, and Ha. This meticulous geographic distribution shows that commitment to providing on-the-ground technical support for every region, a real focus on balanced development.
That's a really clear geographic spread, ensuring no region gets left behind technically. And what about their areas of specialization at the regional level? Do they just mirror the central agency, or are they different?
While they need to be comprehensive, the ROIDs foster specialization in fields particularly relevant to regional needs. Things like structural engineering, water engineering, quantity engineering, urban planning, architecture, road engineering, and project management. This allows them to tackle a wide range of regional infrastructure needs with specific, localized expertise.
Okay, now let's look at the engineering section within budgetary agencies. This sounds like the embedded technical arm within each specific ministry, right?
Yeah.
How do they operate?
Exactly right. The engineering section of a budgetary agency, say, the Ministry of Health or Education, is placed directly under its secretariat. It's headed by a professional and management category level engineer, or maybe a supervisory level one, supported by junior engineers as needed and approved by the ministry. Their core responsibilities include ensuring service continuity for their ministry's specific infrastructure, coordinating on planning, budgeting, procurement of works, prioritizing activities based on the 13th five-year plan goals relevant to their sector, and handling routine operation and maintenance work within that specific ministry. Their areas of specialization are really focused on project management, construction management, quantity engineering, and O&M specialization, reflecting their vital role in managing and maintaining the infrastructure assets specific to their ministry's day-to-day operations. They are the go-to technical folks for their respective ministries.
That seems crucial for smooth day-to-day operations, making sure ministries can manage their own specific assets effectively. And finally, the dzongkhag engineering sector. This is the closest to the local level, isn't it? The district level.
Yes, this is the engineering arm right at the district level, the true grassroots implementation force. It's led by the chief dzonghag engineer, who's a senior professional. The sector also includes a municipal engineer, assistant engineers, technicians, building inspectors, based on what that specific dzonghag needs. Their responsibilities cover activity-level planning in coordination with the ROID, executing and implementing minor central activities where the budget goes directly to the local government and all activities planned by the local governments themselves. They're also responsible for operation and maintenance, providing design services if they have the capacity, preparing proposals for local area plans, issuing planning and construction permits, enforcing regulations, maintaining infrastructure inventory, and constructing and maintaining local farm roads. They also liaise with the ROAID for design support when needed. And it's important to note, for better ownership and accountability, any activity budgeted under the local government is fully implemented by the local government itself.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, trying to grasp this structure? It means a highly distributed yet remarkably coordinated network of engineering expertise. It ensures that whether it's a huge national highway, a critical national hospital, or even a small local farm road, there's a clear line of technical support, quality control, and accountability. Right down to the ground level where the work actually gets done. It's a very intentional ecosystem of technical governance they've built. Okay, this detailed structure sounds incredibly impressive on paper, but the real test is how it actually works on the ground. How does this grand vision and intricate organization translate into actual projects getting built? Let's shift to Section 4, making it work, the operational framework in the project implementation cycle. This introduces the working modality and responsibility framework, which sounds crucial for ensuring effective collaboration, successful projects, and making sure resources are used well.
Absolutely. This structured approach is really designed to establish precise roles, standardize the workflows, set measurable performance indicators for every step of a project. The aim is to foster synergy, accountability, alignment with those national infrastructure objectives, while also optimizing resource use across all implementation levels. It's about translating those org charts into dynamic, efficient processes that actually deliver. Because without that operational clarity, even the best plans can, well, falter.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting. They seem to have thought about how every single piece moves, from the big picture right down to who signs off on the bills. How do they handle new, often complex projects? specifically with the formation of a project implementation unit, PIU.
Okay, so for new centrally planned projects, the Ministry of Infrastructure and Transport, MOIT, will form a specialized PIU team. This team consists of dedicated project managers, other engineers, tailored precisely to the specific needs and scale of that particular project. They are placed temporarily, either at the construction sites or within the respective line ministries, creating a direct, on-the-ground presence. Their working modality is quite specific. The PIU team and its chief engineer report on project issues directly to the Ministerial Level Tender Committee, or MLTC, of the line ministry that owns the project. Project-related tours are considered work-charged, meaning their costs are directly built into the project budget and processed by the line ministry. That ensures administrative efficiency. The PIU also facilitates the procurement process for the project, which helps streamline the complex tendering, and short-term training for people directly involved in the project. That's conducted jointly between MOIT and the line ministry, fostering immediate skill transfer. Individual work plan, or IWPP, planning to these teams is based on activities received from the line ministry, aligned with the 13th five-year plan, but subject to revision as projects evolve. And IWP ratings are carried out jointly by MOIT and the line ministry, ensuring shared accountability. Long-term training for personnel, though, that's handled solely by MOIT, reflecting its parenting role in professional development.
Okay, so it's a temporary, dedicated team, but still very much integrated into the existing ministry structure for that specific project. Balancing that central technical expertise with decentralized project ownership. What about general coordination on things like planning, budgeting, tendering, bill payments? How do they bridge the gaps between different departments day to day?
A few engineers are retained specifically for operation and maintenance within their respective ministries, based on defined SOTAT matrices, standard operating procedure turn around time. These individuals liaise directly with the focal officers like the planning officer, finance officer, procurement officer of the budgetary agencies. This is a critical connection point. It's intended to bridge potential collaboration gaps and ensure smooth, continuous information flow between the technical and administrative arms of the government. It's really about building those daily working relationships.
And on that crucial aspect of project ownership, who actually drives the project forward and who provides the technical muscle?
The framework states it very clearly. The decision and drive will have to be provided by the budgetary agencies. These are the line ministries or local governments that conceptually own the project's goals. They maintain their domain expertise, their functional requirements, ensuring their specific needs aren't lost or distorted during technical implementation. Meanwhile, full technical support shall be provided by DOID, unquote. This clarifies the roles precisely. The line ministry owns the goals, sets the vision, makes the high-level decisions. DOID provides the technical execution expertise to make that vision a reality. It's designed as a partnership of vision and execution.
That's a very clear division. Should help minimize confusion, maybe potential blame games down the line. What about the convenience of HR access? Making sure ministries always have access to the engineering talent they need?
Right. The placement of an engineering section directly under a ministry makes service delivery much faster, much more convenient. It means ministries don't have to constantly go seeking external support for routine or minor engineering needs. They have that expertise embedded right there. The number of engineers retained is jointly determined based on the volume of O&M activities, using a standard ASOCAT format, ensuring efficient and appropriate staffing for each ministry's actual needs.
What about those unexpected ad hoc activities? Things that always seem to pop up in any large-scale operation. How does the framework account for unforeseen needs?
This is a really critical point the document emphasizes quite strongly. It stresses that budgetary agencies must provide adequate time for survey, design, and estimates for any ad hoc activities. This is explicitly highlighted because, as they state, a lack of sufficient time here leads to misunderstanding and poor service delivery. It's basically a direct plea for proper proactive planning, even for unforeseen stuff, recognizing that rushing those initial phases compromises the entire project later on.
And finally, accountability. Who is ultimately responsible when things go right? Or maybe when they go wrong?
The governance framework outlines that the project owners, the budgetary agencies, are accountable for project decisions and the overall drive provided. The PIU engineers, who are deputed just for the duration of a project, report through their chief engineer back to the budgetary agencies during the execution phase. Now, to ensure shared accountability and technical oversight at a high level, one chief engineer from DOI participates as a full member of the Ministerial Level Tender Committee, or MLTC, of the budgetary agency. This ensures that technical expertise is right there at the decision-making table for significant procurements and contract awards. Additionally, any proposal, before it even goes to the MLTC, is first vetted by a Technical Review Committee, or TRC, adding another layer of technical due diligence beforehand.
This raises an important question, doesn't it? How do you balance that central oversight with local ownership and decision-making? It seems the framework provides a pretty clear answer, ensuring both autonomy and support by weaving technical expertise into those key decision points.
Exactly. And this leads us directly into the project implementation cycle itself, which varies slightly depending on whether it's a centrally planned national activity or a local government activity. This is where all those structures and responsibilities really come together in a chronological flow. Let's start with the cycle for budgetary agencies and DOI for centrally planned activities, basically, the major national projects.
Okay, walk us through the steps. What does a typical large-scale project journey look like under this system?
Okay, step one, activity determination. The budgetary agencies, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Education, etc., they determine their annual activities based on the larger projects they proposed in the 13th five-year plan. These finalized lists are then submitted to DOID for a crucial technical feasibility assessment, preliminary design, drawings, and initial cost estimations. This is where DOID's central technical experts first get involved, vetting the viability of what's being proposed.
So DOID acts as a kind of gatekeeper of technical viability, making sure what's planned is actually buildable before it goes too far.
Precisely. Step two, feasibility and approval. DOID rigorously reviews the submitted activities. If something's deemed non-feasible technically or for other reasons, it gets returned to the respective budgetary agency for review and modification. This prevents costly mistakes later. If it is feasible, it proceeds back to the budgetary agencies for them to obtain all the necessary administrative approvals and clearances.
Okay, and once it's deemed feasible and approved, then the actual detailed design work begins.
Yes. Step three, design and tender preparation. DOID takes on the full responsibility for preparing the detailed designs, the architectural drawings, precise cost estimates, and all the necessary tender documents needed for contracting the actual works. These documents form the comprehensive basis for both budgeting and the subsequent tendering process, making sure everything is meticulously laid out before construction even starts.
And the final step in this central process, getting the contractor on board.
Step four, tendering and award. The tendering and evaluation process is conducted jointly by the engineering divisions of the budgetary agencies and DOID. This joint effort ensures both administrative integrity and strong technical oversight during the selection of contractors. The final contract award is undertaken by the Ministerial Level Tender Committee, or MLTC, of the respective budgetary agency. And crucially, as we mentioned, a chief engineer from DOID participates as a full member of that MLTC, providing expert technical advice, ensuring that the technical aspects of the bids are fully considered in the final award decision, not just, the lowest price.
That's a very clear four-step process for the big, centrally planned national projects. Now, what about for local governments and ORAID, specifically for complex infrastructure projects that might require more than just local capacity? How does that cycle differ?
The cycle here is quite similar, but it's tailored to the local context. It gives local governments more agency for projects within their direct purview. Step one, activity determination. Local governments, or LGs, base their annual activities on projects outlined in the 13th five-year plan, just like the ministries. From this list, they identify those projects that specifically need technical support from the regional office, the OROID, because of their complexity or specialized nature. Necessary documentation, like design briefs or detailed requirements, is then submitted to ROID for technical feasibility assessments and preliminary designs and drawings.
So OROID acts as the technical support hub for LGs, similar to how DOID supports ministries, but focused regionally.
Precisely. Step two, feasibility and approval. OROID assesses the feasibility of these local projects. Non-feasible activities are returned to the concerned local government for review, again, preventing wasted resources. Feasible activities move forward, and the LGs are then responsible for obtaining the required local approvals and clearances from their own administrative bodies.
And then OROID does the design work for these complex local projects, providing that regional expertise.
Correct. Step three, design and drawings. ORID prepares the detailed designs and drawings for these complex projects and then forwards them to the local government. This ensures the technical quality is maintained even at the local level, backed by that regional expertise.
And the final step, Tendering and award is handled by the local government itself, but with ORAID's support available.
Yes. The document review, tendering, and evaluation process is conducted by the Dzongkhag engineering section itself at the district level. The final contract award is undertaken by the Dzongkhag Level Tender Committee, or DLTC. Now, for technical oversight here, the chief engineer or the designer from ORAID may provide expert technical advice to the DLTC if solicited. This is a subtle but important difference from the central process where ORAID's chief engineer is a full, mandatory member of the MLTC. This reflects the LG's greater autonomy in their own projects, while still ensuring they have access to higher-level technical advice if and when they feel they need it.
So what does this all mean for overall project delivery, for you listening? It means a clear, step-by-step process, meticulously designed. It aims to reduce bottlenecks, ensure technical rigor at every stage, while smartly adapting the level of central involvement based on the project's scale, its complexity, and who ultimately owns it. It really highlights their commitment to efficiency and quality, from the highest national level right down to the local community level. All these processes sound great, but they absolutely need crystal clear responsibilities to work smoothly, right, without things falling through the cracks. This brings us to Section 5, Clear Lines Division of Responsibilities in Specific Project Examples. This is really where the rubber meets the road, who does what, exactly, and who's ultimately accountable for each type of activity. The document provides a detailed Table 1, Division of Responsibilities, which really helps clarify the roles for Deutschroyd, the ministries, and the local governments for different kinds of activities.
Yeah, this table is a crucial element for operational efficiency. It ensures no critical task gets missed and accountability is always clear. It's about building a predictable, reliable system. For instance, let's consider centrally planned activities classified as major, the big national projects. Here, Deutschroyd provides the comprehensive design and technical support, plus implementation support. The ministries, in this scenario, hold the primary project ownership and are responsible for the overall execution. They also provide crucial oversight monitoring and feedback if they deem it necessary. This shows a clear partnership. The central technical body provides the expertise, while the line ministry retains ownership and responsibility for driving the execution and achieving the desired outcomes.
And for centrally planned activities, minor projects, did that partnership shift at all? Is there less central involvement?
It does shift slightly. Here, Deutschroyd's role is a bit reduced. They provide design support if necessary and general oversight monitoring. The ministries again retain full project ownership and execution responsibility. This indicates a greater degree of autonomy from ministries on smaller central projects, where they might have sufficient internal capacity, but still with that option for central technical input should they need it. It's an efficient way to delegate responsibility based on project scale.
Okay. What about local government planned activities? That sounds like where local governments have the most direct control, aligning with Bhutan's whole decentralization push.
They absolutely do. For LG planned activities, Deutschroyd provides design support if necessary and general oversight monitoring. Ministries also provide oversight monitoring if Deutschroyd provides the design and feedback if needed. But crucially, the local governments hold the primary project ownership and are directly responsible for execution, including the day-to-day management. This really empowers local governments to manage their own specific development needs, with that essential technical backing available as needed from the regional level.
And finally, what about projects managed by PMU, Project Management Unit, and PIU, Project Implementation Unit, for both major and minor activities? These often involve external funding or highly specialized requirements, right?
Exactly. For both major and minor PMU-PIU projects, Deutschroyd again provides design and implementation support along with ongoing oversight monitoring. For major activities, the ministries take on project ownership, while the local government handles project ownership and execution, including the tendering. For minor activities, the ministry still holds project ownership, and the local government is responsible for both ownership and execution. The distinction here is often guided by specific project documents or products, which outline exactly how these externally funded or highly specialized projects are managed, ensuring accountability to funding partners as well.
What's fascinating here is how the scale and nature of a project fundamentally change who holds the primary responsibility. It allows for efficient delegation while still maintaining central oversight and expertise exactly where it's most needed. Could you give some concrete examples from Table 2, definition of major and minor activities? Just to illustrate how different ministries actually categorize their projects, it really helps bring the framework to life.
Certainly. Let's look at the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, MOAL. A major activity for them would be something like a centrally planned, large-scale irrigation scheme that serves multiple communities. Or maybe the development of large-scale churrup farms. Those are a type of livestock farm crucial for high-altitude communities. These are clearly significant national-level agricultural infrastructure projects designed to impact food security broadly. On the other hand, minor activities would be more localized, community-level initiatives, like locally planned irrigation schemes for just a single village, installing chain-link fencing for individual farms, small fish ponds, or setting up smaller-scale farms. This really highlights the distinction between those broad strategic projects and the more localized community-level initiatives that still contribute to national goals.
That's a very clear difference in scale within just one ministry. What about something like the National Medical Services and the Ministry of Health? Those are so vital to people's well-being.
Right. For health, major activities are defined as constructing high-level specialized medical facilities. This would include things like a multidisciplinary, super specialty hospital, a dedicated cancer center, a Royal Center for Infectious Disease, large referral hospitals, or general hospitals with more than 20 beds. These are complex, capital-intensive projects serving a wide population needing significant technical oversight. In contrast, minor activities would cover things like disability-friendly health infrastructure, hospitals with up to 20 beds, basic health units often the first point of contact for many people, or thronged health centers serving urban local communities. This demonstrates how even within a critical sector like health, the complexity and scale dictate the classification and therefore the implementation responsibilities, ensuring appropriate technical oversight for different levels of healthcare delivery.
That's incredibly insightful for understanding how these classifications actually play out in practice. Now let's really get into the nitty-gritty with Table 3. Responsibility matrix for centrally planned activities between DOID and budgetary agencies. This is where that specific collaborative dance is really laid out, showing step by step who does what in those big central projects. Can you pick out some key responsibilities just to illustrate this deep collaboration?
Absolutely. Let's take the 5-year plan and infrastructure prioritization. Both DOID and the budgetary agencies have a check mark here, indicating joint responsibility. The budgetary agencies prepare their FYP infrastructure requirements involving DOID for technical input, okay? But the document specifies that the prioritization across the 5-year period is ultimately carried out by the budgetary agencies themselves. This shows DOID as a crucial technical partner providing input, but the ministry remains the ultimate decision maker on what gets priority based on its sectoral needs and goals.
So the ministry sets the strategic direction, the what, and DOID provides the technical input on the how. Makes sense. What about a fundamental step like technical survey? Who leads that?
That's a clear one. Technical survey to be carried out by DOID. This highlights DOID's role as the primary technical execution arm for that foundational data collection and site assessment for all major central projects. It's their core technical expertise in action.
And design and estimates. That sounds like it absolutely have to be a joint effort, given the complexity involved.
It is. The budgetary agencies provide the design brief outlining functional requirements. Basically, what they need the infrastructure to do, what its purpose is. Then, DOID to prepare design and estimates in consultation with the budgetary agency. So the vision comes from the agency, and DOID translates that vision into precise technical plans, working together to ensure the final design meets both the functional requirements and the necessary technical standards.
How about tendering and evaluation? That's always a complex process, right? Significant financial and technical implications.
Here, the head of procuring agency, of HOPA, of the budgetary agency, creates the tender ID and uploads the tenders to the public platform handling the administrative side of procurement. The technical representation in the evaluation committees, however, is provided jointly by the engineering section within the budgetary agency in collaboration with DOID. This ensures that while the budgetary agency manages the administrative procurement process, the technical expertise is firmly involved in evaluating the bids, making sure quality and feasibility are prioritized alongside cost.
And the actual construction work execution. Who is on site driving the project day to day?
Okay. Work site monitoring is primarily done by the Project Implementation Unit, PIU, identified for that specific project as we discussed earlier. But crucially, the document states, during the execution phase, the project shall be owned and driven by the tender committee of the budgetary agencies and provide timely directives and decisions for any appraisals submitted by the site engineer project manager. So, while the PIU monitors and manages the site, the budgetary agency holds the strategic reins, providing direction and making those critical decisions as the project progresses.
And bills and payments, the real
Yeah.
nitty-gritty of project finance.
Right. The mobilization advance, which gets the project started, is processed by the budgetary agencies. For ongoing payments, the site engineer verifies the bills, including any advances submitted by the contractor, then forwards them to the budgetary agencies for payment upon verification. This creates a clear paper trail, clear responsibility, ensuring that payments align with work progress and quality checks.
And finally, the taking over of site at project completion. How does that work?
The site engineer or project manager verifies the completion of the work, ensuring it meets all specifications laid out in the contract. Upon verification, the completed project is jointly taken over by the budgetary agencies and the PIU from the contractor. This joint handover ensures shared understanding and accountability for the final completed asset. The relevant documents are kept by the site engineer until auditing is done, and then they're formally handed over to the budgetary agency for future record keeping and maintenance planning. Ensures a clear transfer of responsibility for the finished asset. Now, this raises that important question again: how does this framework empower local governments while still ensuring quality and alignment with national standards? The division of responsibilities for local projects, which is detailed in Table 4, responsibility matrix for local government planned activities between ORAID and ZONCAGs is really key here. It's clearly about building local capacity and ownership.
I see. So for 5-year plan activities, both ROID and ZONCAGs are involved, but the ZONCAGs are the primary drivers, preparing their own FYP infrastructure requirements. That reinforces local input right from the start.
Exactly. And the infrastructure prioritization across the 5-year period, that's solely carried out by the ZONCAGs. This is a significant indicator of local autonomy, allowing them to set their immediate development agenda based on specific community needs and priorities. For activity planning, ZONCAGs carry out their own planning, but they submit lists of activities requiring design support to ORAID, which then provides that technical backup.
And for technical survey at the local level, is OROID always involved there, or does it depend on the complexity of the project?
ORAID supports technical surveys only for complex projects referred by the ZONCAGs. This is a clear difference from centrally planned activities, where DOID carries out all technical surveys. This empowers ZONCAGs to handle simpler surveys themselves if they have the internal capacity, decentralizing those basic functions.
And design and estimates for local projects. Same principle.
Similar principle, yes. RID prepares design and estimates only for complex projects and does so in consultation with the ZONCAG, which provides the initial design brief. For non-complex projects, the ZONCAG's own engineering sector would handle it if they have the capacity, further promoting self-sufficiency at the local level.
What about tendering and evaluation for local projects? Is that also primarily handled by the ZONCAGs themselves?
Yes, very much so. The ZONCAG engineering section conducts the document review, tendering, and evaluation process internally. The head of procuring agency, HOPA, of the ZONCAG creates the tender ID, and the procuring agency user uploads tenders. The evaluation committee is constituted by the ZONCAGs, involving finance and procurement personnel from the local government, with technical representation provided by their own engineering section, sometimes in collaboration with DOID if needed. This process is largely decentralized right down to the ZONCAG level, fostering local ownership and accountability for procurement decisions.
And the ultimate construction work implementation. Who has the ownership there? The direct responsibility for making it happen on the ground locally.
This is a really crucial point that underpins the empowerment of local governments in this framework. The document states, the ZONCAG shall assume full ownership in the implementation and contract administration of projects. Now, while RDOID or DOID shall provide technical advice and backstopping if deemed necessary, particularly for complex issues that might arise, the primary ownership and execution responsibility lies squarely with the ZONCAG. This clearly empowers local governments to take charge of their own projects from start to finish, while still ensuring they have access to that higher-level technical support when required. It's really about enabling local autonomy rather than micromanaging everything from the center.
That distinction is absolutely key, isn't it? It ensures that while the central and regional agencies provide high-level expertise and oversight, local governments are truly empowered to drive their own development, fostering a stronger sense of ownership and responsiveness to local needs. This framework isn't just about efficiency. It seems to be about distributed leadership, too. Okay, we talked about the grand vision, the national blueprint, the organizational structures, the operational framework. Now let's bring it down to a more human level. Let's detail the diverse roles and specializations within these new agencies. So what does this all mean for the people actually on the ground, the engineers, the architects, the technicians who are actually building this future? It means an incredible array of specialized skills coming together, quite literally, to build a nation.
Absolutely. And the framework goes into remarkable detail about the specific job descriptions, which really highlights the depth of expertise being integrated at every level of government. Let's look at Annex Rise, which covers the ORAID job descriptions, the regional offices. It shows how these offices are staffed to be comprehensive technical hubs for their areas. For example, the chief, engineer, architect, urban planner, role within an ORAID. It's incredibly comprehensive. They're essentially the regional orchestrators. They coordinate support to DOID for centrally planned activities happening in their region. They oversee the preparation of crucial spatial plans like structure plans and local area plans for their region, making sure they align with national plans.
So they're the regional conductors, really, making sure the national vision cascades down effectively into practical local plans. That's a huge responsibility.
It really is. They also oversee detailed design services for those complex projects referred by the JONCAGs. They lead professional development and capacity building within their own ORAID team. They lead the compilation of a comprehensive infrastructure inventory for the entire region. They even lead the procurement of works for the regional office itself and establish standard operating procedures, SOPs, and turnaround times, TATs, for professional services, ensuring efficient operations internally. Crucially, they accord technical sanction for designs and drawings of proposed private building constructions and government infrastructures within their delegated authority. And they approve financial bills prepared by subordinate engineers. Ultimately, they're accountable for ensuring timely completion of centrally executed projects within their region and establishing effective monitoring and evaluation systems. It's a very comprehensive leadership role, blending deep technical expertise with significant administrative responsibility.
Wow, that is a lot resting on one role. What about some of the more specialized roles within these ORAIDs? You mentioned water infrastructure earlier.
Right, take the civil engineer, water infrastructure, for instance. Their role is specifically to support DOID and the Department of Human Settlement, DHS, in implementing critical water supply, irrigation, flood mitigation, stormwater drainage, and sanitation projects within their region. This includes collaborating on technical feasibility studies, providing direct technical support in designing these complex systems, monitoring construction works on site, conducting assessments of existing water systems, and providing recommendations for improvements. They also provide ZONCAGs with specialized design services for complex water infrastructure projects if necessary, and ensure compliance with all national regulations. This really highlights the critical focus on securing a sustainable water future for every community.
That's incredibly specialized and absolutely vital given Bhutan's terrain and water resources. And I also see a focus on long-term holistic planning with the urban planners within the ORAID structure.
Yes, the urban planners are crucial. They lead the review or preparation of spatial plans, those structure plans and/or local area plans for various growth centers in their region, coordinating closely with the Dzongkhag administration and the Department of Human Settlement. Their goal is to ensure the development of coherent, efficient, livable, and resilient communities that align with those G&H principles. They also prepare detailed sectoral plans, think green infrastructure initiatives, recreational parks, urban design proposals, transportation intervention plans. They initiate development reviews, settlement studies, provide support to Dzongkhags in implementing spatial plans, and even support the Central Ministry, MOIT, in formulating and reviewing policies related to human settlement planning. This demonstrates a very long-term, forward-thinking, holistic planning approach that goes way beyond just engineering structures.
And just briefly, to cover the breadth, we also see roles listed like architects, structural engineers, electrical engineers, survey associates, and assistant engineers, indicating a truly multidisciplinary team housed within these regional offices.
Yes, the ROIDs are definitely staffed to be comprehensive technical hubs for their respective regions. Now, let's briefly touch upon the roles within the other subsidiary agencies just to show the completeness of this framework. Annexure 2 details the job descriptions for the engineering section in budgetary agencies. Remember, these are the sections embedded within ministries like health or education. Here, the section head is key. Their role involves leading the overall coordination and management of their engineering section within that specific ministry. They coordinate with DUID for technical support on larger projects, prepare and endorse work plans and budgets specific to their ministry's infrastructure needs, provide operation and maintenance services for the ministry's assets, and even participate in tender preparation and evaluation for projects relevant to their ministry. This is essentially the embedded technical arm within each ministry, ensuring that daily infrastructure needs are met internally and efficiently.
So they're the go-to technical person within their specific ministry, ensuring things run smoothly day to day. And finally, Annexure the Third, which covers the Zongkag engineering sector job descriptions. These are the roles at the district level, the true frontline implementers.
Correct. The chief Zongkag engineer is a pivotal leader at the district level. They oversee compliance and coordinate the implementation of all infrastructure development projects and local area plans for their entire Zongkag. They are directly responsible for ensuring the quality of local infrastructure. They accord technical sanction within their delegated financial limits and carry out final inspections. They are also members of various local committees like the Zongkag Tender Committee or Environment Committee, ensuring their technical expertise is integrated right into local governance decisions. This emphasizes their comprehensive leadership role at the district level, combining technical know-how with local governance.
And the municipal engineer DRO role sounds very specific to urban development within the Zongkag, which is increasingly important everywhere, including Bhutan, with urbanization trends.
It is. This role specifically manages and implements infrastructure development, works in urban areas within their jurisdiction. That includes the operation and maintenance of vital services like water supply, sanitation, streetlights, local transportation networks within towns. They prepare project proposals, accord planning permits, issue building permits based on technical sanctions, ensuring all local construction aligns with approved plans. They are also responsible for enforcing the rules and regulations for urban development within the Zongkag's municipal jurisdiction, preventing unplanned or illegal construction. This highlights that crucial focus on planned urban growth and quality of life in towns.
And the building inspectors. They're clearly crucial for that on-the-ground enforcement, aren't they? Ensuring safety and quality in every single new build.
Absolutely able. Building inspectors play a critical role in monitoring and inspecting construction sites, ensuring strict compliance with approved drawings, technical personnel requirements, safety standards, building codes, occupancy requirements. They actively regulate illegal or unauthorized constructions, issue violation notices, even initiate service disconnection orders to defaulters, acting as the ultimate on-site quality assurance. They also undertake advocacy programs to educate builders and ensure proper disposal of construction debris, fostering sustainable practices on site. This ensures practical, on-the-ground enforcement of all the standards we've been discussing throughout this framework.
And of course, we also see those foundational roles of technicians, electrical, mechanical, civil, and basic operators. These are the hands-on personnel carrying out maintenance, repairs, operations on a daily basis. They truly form the backbone of the entire system, keeping everything running.
Yes, absolutely indispensable. They ensure everything from the large-scale national planning right down to the smallest on-site maintenance task and daily operation is covered, forming a complete and robust infrastructure ecosystem from top to bottom.
This raises an important question. How do they ensure all these different specialists across all these different levels, central, regional, local, are truly working together effectively? It sounds like such a complex dance of coordination and shared purpose. But it seems like the answer is built into the very fabric of this new organizational structure, demonstrating a really profound commitment to integrated nationwide development. We've taken a truly comprehensive journey, haven't we, through Bhutan's really ambitious infrastructure framework, from that overarching vision of a dynamic, globally competitive, sustainable construction industry, all the way down to the intricate details of who processes a bill for a local farm road. We've seen a nation strategically building its future, both fiscally and institutionally. It's really a testament to meticulous planning and hopefully dedicated execution, all aimed at enhancing that unique measure. Gross national happiness.
Yes, the ingenuity here, I think, lies in the holistic approach. Establishing the Central Engineering Agency, NOID, supported by its regional offices, OROIDs, and those specialized engineering sections within budgetary agencies. You couple that with clear operational frameworks, meticulously defined project implementation cycles. This isn't just some policy document, it's really a blueprint for an entire professional ecosystem, one geared towards comprehensive GNH-aligned nation building. It demonstrates how clear roles, specialized expertise, and truly integrated planning can drive monumental change, even perhaps especially in a smaller nation with its own unique challenges and opportunities.
Indeed. It's all designed to achieve those unique gross national happiness goals. Ensuring development isn't just about raw economic growth, but about sustainable well-being, cultural preservation, environmental integrity for all citizens. So thinking about all this, what lessons can you draw from Bhutan's meticulous approach to large-scale planning and transformation? How might applying such a holistic, clearly defined framework where every piece seems interconnected and every role is clear change the way you approach complex projects, organizational redesigns, or maybe even your own long-term goals in your life or work? Think about how defining your why, like Bhutan's G&H, and then meticulously planning the how, like this framework, can potentially lead to truly transformative outcomes. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Bhutan's vision for its infrastructure. We hope it gave you some profound insights to mull over.